This is not an aircraft. You are in the church. Sitting there, there is no cockpit in front of you. You are not flying. You are on the ground. And still we refer to you as a pilot. You are not a pilot because you are flying now, but you are a pilot because of the ability. You can do it. So she's referring, listen now. I've never seen him healing any leper, but he is still a pilot. He can fly this thing. Is he flying now? He's not flying. If there were other miracles that he did before, the disciples were not even there. Majority of those disciples, except just for few, you see the miracle of fish and so on and so on, the majority, they'd never seen anything. So now, what is the situation here? You have to have a revelation. The person that you are following, the person that is helping you, the person that is mentoring you, how deep do you understand him? How deep? How deep do you understand him? Do you know that if you are loyal to your mentor, sit down. If you are loyal, loyalty is so visible, it can be seen from outside. She came running to Elisha, a widow, and said, you know that my husband, your servant, was so faithful, he feared God. He died, and there is a debt that is left. My husband, your servant. But if you read that story, the Bible says, there cried a woman, a certain woman, of the wives of the sons of the prophet. She was a wife to the son of a prophet. The husband was a son of the prophet. And yet when the wife was left alone, she's saying, your servant, not your son. You might choose to call my husband your son, but in as far as I know him, he doesn't behave like your son. He doesn't take orders like a son should do. I stay with him. His level of loyalty is questionable. If you are going to write this chapter, you can choose to call him son of the prophet, but I see him as a servant to the prophet. How does she know? If the two of you, yourself, we don't want to bother Mama, and your wife, if you are going to decide that we are going to have him as our mentor, and she agrees to that, there will be certain things that she will do to find out whether you are really serious about this relationship. If you are having a conflict with her, and she tells you that I'm going to report you to Pastor Zua, and you say, go ahead. The day you say that, listen to me now, she's testing your level of revelation, whether you understand the man that you have submitted to. If she tells you that I'm going to report you to the prophet, and you tell her, go ahead, I don't care, I'm the father of this house, you are finished. Then she will know that you are not a son of the prophet, you are a servant. You are a servant. That's how you test to really find out, because some of you are questioning why my husband is not blessed. He's not yet a son. Test him. Your husband is not yet a son. When you are having a conflict, the moment you mention my name and you say, now right away from this place I'm going to prophet's house to tell him what you have done, he's supposed to beg you. And if you see that happening, then you will know that now my husband is under authority. He qualifies for a blessing. If you hear your husband saying that, that's why kumwekwesa mna problem, but pamba ipapa ndo pane problem ipa. Pacho pano ndo pake pasara na pepa ndo pane nyaya. Usaka pachikunetsa ipa. Son of a prophet. Your servant, my husband, your servant. He was not a son. I know him. He doesn't care about you. He talks about you. He talks against you. I know him. Some of you find yourself in certain conversations where even your wife can advise you to shut up. There are times when you begin to talk about the only covering that you have. 1 out of 1,000. You leave 900 and something and you start talking about the only covering that you have. And your children are listening. If they find you even fighting physically, your children, look at them when they are coming for Sunday school. The way they see the prophet, the way they respect him. They believe that he knows and he sees everything. They believe that. But when they see you fighting physically, they begin to question the prophetic. How can our father be doing this? How can our mother be doing this? And yet we see him sitting on the VIP. Is the prophet really a prophet? You are creating another generation that is never going to believe in the same covering that you believe in. Which means I'm never going to be able to cover your children. Because to them, if the prophet was really a prophet, how can my father be doing what he's doing now, knowing that his father is a prophet? So they will begin to question. So slowly, one after the other, they begin to escape from the covering. They begin to question whether this thing is authentic. How can this thing be happening? And we have children that are coming here, some of them are even crying and saying, when is the prophet going to see this? So if I'm not the right person to help your children, it means you still have another assignment to find a better mentor for them. How are you going to find their voice? How are you going to choose the person that they would want to listen to for them? How are you going to do that? I will report you to the men of God and you say, go. Don't care. Yes. You know why I chose to be under authority? It was a decision. I wanted to have an authority above me. When my father said, I've accepted you, I went back to my wife, I said, I've created a place for you where you can go and report me. I want this marriage to be as comfortable as it can. So my father, it's not only me who is going to benefit. Yourself. Get his number. If anything goes wrong, report me. I might not be afraid of you, but there's a person that I fear. Why not report? Some of you, even if you hear that your wife has reported you to me, if you hear that, so are you my only son? I don't have a daughter now. She's not supposed to report you to me. Where else do you want her to go? Watongonzwa kuti yasvika wotongoti shamwari. Apa wazotobva wandikuwadza zvokuti handichaziva kuti. Hello? Hello? Am I forcing you to do this? No. Because you have already caught it, but you are failing to keep it. It's rotting in your body. You will never enjoy this one. And look at how hard you fought against it. The fish was pulling to and fro. And yet finally, you still can't keep it, and you will never enjoy that relationship. So the most important thing that is needed now is a revelation. How big is your revelation concerning your mentor? The man, the person, the woman that is mentoring you, how deep do you understand him? To a point where even if anything is to happen now, you will never question his ability. You will never. How can you have a relationship that lasts for only 2 weeks? Breaks down, another one comes again, proposes, only 2 weeks. Breaks down, another one proposes, and you are so happy every time, up to the 7th one. Why do you continue accepting those guys? Why not wait? Sit down. Look at it again. What's wrong with me? Why am I losing every relationship? Every important person, I'm losing him. Is it my fault? I've watched on National Geographic before, air crash investigation. It's a program that they do there. It's not all about planes crashing. They investigate. They investigate. They go after the black box. They want to go through the information, that any information they can find from the black box. What was the last conversation before the crash? So go back. Even if it was an emergency landing, you can't take off again until the problem is rectified. You have lost a mentor before. Now you want to have another one. Every relationship that has crashed before, go to the crash site. Take a black box. Go through the last conversation. What did you do? What made you to lose that relationship? Before establishing another, what made you to lose that former relationship? What is it? If that is not established, you continue catching them, but you will never eat them. It's not all about catching, it's all about keeping them. Another good person is waiting for you right now outside. Already God has given him your phone number. He's waiting. There's going to be a call. You are going to be connected. But the question is, how are you going to keep him?